Welcome, and thank you for joining us for today's DealerOn webinar, How to Find, Engage, and Market to Consumers More Profitably. My name is Eliana Raggio, and I'll be your moderator today. And today's webinar is being presented by DealerOn. And for anyone who isn't familiar with DealerOn, well, we're an award-winning website development company and digital agency. We're best known for our amazing SEO, the absolute best customer service, and the highest converting website designs in the industry, bar none, including the brand new Chameleon responsive website platform. We're so committed to lead conversion, optimization, and customer service that DealerOn is still the only company in the industry to offer a money-back lead guarantee program. So, does your website company guarantee you a 50% lift in leads or your money back? Yeah, I didn't think so. Maybe you should check us out at our gorgeous brand new DealerOn website at DealerOn.com. And we have a great show in store for you today. We're very pleased to have Joey Little as our presenter today. Joey Little is the Vice President of Social Strategy for MotoFuse, which helps automotive dealers build strong, successful relationships with their customers through internet marketing, social networking, and online public relations. His leadership and talent in the area of social media marketing was integral when launching the revolutionary FuseCast system, which integrates with dealership online platforms to create such a powerful growth trajectory that many clients now appear on the Inc. magazine's 500 fastest growing companies list. With results-driven advice, proven industry knowledge, and a dynamic personality, he skillfully works to connect clients with their customers through the power of social media. Joey is a highly regarded internet marketer and innovator, a respected voice in the automotive industry, and a popular presenter at many industry conferences. And he can be reached at joey@motofuse.com. Now, during the presentation, if you have any questions, please use the question feature located on the corner of your screen to submit them. At the end of the presentation, we'll answer those questions of general interest. If we're unable to get to your question live, don't worry. We're going to try and respond to you by email later today. Also, don't forget, a link to download a copy of this webinar recording will also be emailed to you later today for your reference. Please feel free to share it with your friends and colleagues. And guess what? Our friends at MotoFuse are giving away a fantastic prize today on the webinar. One of you lucky webinar attendees will win the ultimate Kansas City barbecue gift box. You got 5 different kinds of seasoning rubs, 3 different brands of barbecue sauce, a steak sauce, and a book titled 25 Essentials of Grilling. Can you say yum with summertime officially here? This is an awesome prize, but only one of you lucky webinar attendees is going to be scoring this totally cool prize today. You have to be on the live broadcast to win it, though. All you have to do is stay tuned for the details after Joey's presentation, and you could be the one scoring this awesome prize today. Also, at the conclusion of the webinar, you're going to receive a short survey, so fill it out. We're always looking for your feedback. Today, we're going to randomly select a couple of people from all the completed surveys to also win some Google prizes. And hey, do you tweet much? You know what? We hope you do. We'd love to see what you had to say about today's presentation. So please tag us in it. You can use hashtag DealerOnWebby. I'm at Eliana Raggio. Joey is at Social Little Man. And you can also use at MotoFuse too. And you know what? We look forward to seeing what you're saying. So let's get started. Let's learn how to find, engage, and market to consumers more profitably. Joey Little, how you doing?
Thursday. Sweaty time. It's happening.
Now, a little birdie told me that you used to be on the radio, and so have I, but I mean, this is my radio voice, but I'm sure you have a little bit more oomph to yours. So if you wouldn't mind telling the audience today what our objectives are, what the kinds of things we're going to be learning about today in your fancy dancy radio voice, I would love to hear it. I know all my people would too.
Okay, let's see how we can do this. I mean, script it out. Let's. I did rock radio, so I got to start it out the natural way. So, and this one actually goes out to my boy Eric Milch. That was Nickelback on Topeka's Rock Leader V100. Coming up, we're going to talk about your objectives. Achieving more website traffic and BDP views from people you trust and relate to. Also improving your social ROI. Empowering your employees. Learning about the customer experience management. And then later on, be listening for that sounder. Be caller number 10 in that question and answer session, and we'll send you and a friend all the way to Wichita, Kansas to see Nickelback live.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Joey, if we weren't like actually sitting here trying to get some serious education out to these people, I would ask you to do that whole presentation in that voice because that was freaking awesome. Thank you so much for doing that for me. I appreciate it. Please continue. Where do we begin?
Well, first of all, but first, I do need to. I'm not quite sure if he's here, but he'd signed up for it. I want to say happy birthday to Mike, the car guy. Anybody that's in the social realms, the social industry of Facebook and Twitter, with the industry of automotive retail, you know who Mike, the car guy, is out there in California. So just want to say a happy 21st birthday to Mike.
Mike, happy birthday. We love our Geminis. Congratulations, Mike, the car guy. Hope you enjoy it.
So today, we get started. Just to introduce myself. Eliana did a great job, and in fact, impressed myself with my own bio there. But a little bit about MotoFuse before we get into today's presentation. A new company. We've been around for 18 months to 2 years. We're revolutionizing how automotive dealers find, engage, and market to more consumers more profitably with the industry's first CEM system, Customer Experience Management System. If you've never heard of CEM, you're about to learn about it today. So thank you, and I want to thank DealerOn and Eliana for this opportunity for us to reach out and to spread this message. Our MotoFuse executive team, I wish that I could put all the employees here at MotoFuse here in Kansas City and across the country up on the screen, but this is where I'm at, these old guys here. But if you recognize some names here, a little background on us. We're an executive team at a company called Bin Solutions. We have moved on and brought our innovation over and started this company of MotoFuse, powered by FuseCast. You might recognize Mike DeLay as the former CEO and founder of Bin Solutions. He's our CEO here. And then everybody you see here, we've been working together for a long time. Kendall Billman, one of the best website guys in the business. Tom Walsh, just an awesome back-end technology whiz, just builds everything. That's the man that built a lot of CRMs that are out there in the world. But getting started, what we want to talk about is one of the main challenges your dealership faces. And we want to get deep in this side of this because we want to take a different approach to how we can fix this challenge, how we can address this challenge and make it better. Because it seems like we're spinning our wheels a lot with the same type of stuff that's out there when it comes to digital marketing. The challenge is Gary Crosley Ford, just located here north of Kansas City, just a few minutes away from our offices. Gary Crosley Ford, an amazing Ford dealership, high growth. I mean, just a high volume Ford dealership, does well. They've got their marketing message, and what they want to do is they pretty much their main focus is to cover the Kansas City area and get their word out. If you're looking for service or if you're looking for a new Ford or even a pre-owned vehicle, I mean, this is pretty much the standard wants of all dealerships. The problem is that Gary Crosley Ford is not alone. And in fact, in Kansas City itself, we've got, as you can see here, a multitude of Ford dealerships, even from 60 miles out from Topeka, Kansas, and going the other direction to Columbia, Missouri. So Gary Crosley Ford, his competition, just going at his same franchise, is absolutely covering. To get the word out, to make yourself unique, to explain your culture and what your business is, just in an area of Kansas City is very tough, just when you're competing with your own franchises. So in your area, Tier 1, Tier 2, and the Tier 3, they all bid basically on the same keywords. That's what we get into. They're bidding on the same keywords, so you're competing all the time. And they all bid primarily for that big city, in this case being Kansas City. And that can be very tough in those keyword battles. Even large shopping sites also bid on those same keywords in cities too. And also, don't forget that the competition is also conquesting the same keywords. So this is why ad spending when it comes to digital marketing keeps increasing, because of the competition that's there. And where does this stop? How high do we go? How far do we go? What is the ROI that we're receiving on keyword purchase? So we look at VW Southtown in Salt Lake City. Back to Kansas City, we saw the competition he had with his just same franchise. But in VW Southtown of Salt Lake City, we look at the competition of all dealerships. And not just dealerships, franchise dealerships, but pre-owned lots, just the buy here, pay here, all of them competing for the same keywords. So how do you make yourself unique? By getting the word out and getting your reach exponentially higher. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is how we can look for and get that message to those consumers. one of the ways of solving that problem we've done through social media is the components of advocacy. Now, 3 types of advocacy, and 2 of these being really well defined by dealerships and even companies in other industries, is your brand advocacy on social. Basically, your brand speaking about themselves and and talking about how cool it is and how much we have great times here and putting the word out. A lot of brick and mortar Facebook pages, that's your brand advocacy. The true reach that a lot of dealerships and companies see as the bonus home run when it comes to advocacy is customer or consumer advocacy. You see this with companies like Southwest Airlines or Starbucks, where consumers just reach out and talk about how much they love it, how much that they have a pleasure doing business. And you see it on the other end, they do complain too, but reaching that pinnacle customer advocacy has been the goal for most, I would say, all dealerships working in social media. You post a picture of a happy customer online, you really hope that that customer comes back and tags it because you want to reach out to their friends and family. But what I don't think dealerships have really, truly grabbed hold of is the advocacy of your employees, the reach of your employees. And we're going to discover that today. Talking about the brick and mortar of Facebook pages for XYZ dealership, Facebook has completely almost killed the organic reach of what you're posting to your brick and mortar page if you're not, boosting your posts or running ads. I mean, we've dropped, I've seen as close to 2% for business pages that are absolutely irrelevant for what they're trying to, their goods and services. So Facebook, they fall off the face of the earth when it comes to Facebook and their posts going through the news feed. I've seen some get up there to 5 to 6%, but we're looking at a very, very low percentage of your fans seeing your posts going through their news feed organically. So how do we solve that? Well, we use the power of the employees. So the average personal profile on Facebook can possibly reach up to 70 or even 80% of their social networks. That means if somebody has 500 friends, they're going to reach about 70% of them with posts that they put through Facebook. And we're not talking about salesy posts. We're just talking about everyday, anything, just content that goes out. I think I posted 3 times this morning to myself. So think about your dealership and how many people work at your dealership in your different departments, and just kind of take that idea that the average Facebook user has about 350 friends, connections. Now the lower age of the Facebook user, the higher number of friends, because I believe the 18-year-olds and below have an average of about 650, and the higher end, the 65 plus, have about 200 to 250. And 75% of those employees that work at your dealership don't actually sell cars. They're working in fixed, they're in the office, they're in other areas, but they do have friends who buy cars from them, or buy cars and trust them. But here is the problem that we run into in automotive retail at the dealership. 95%, studies show that 95% of first-degree personal relationship connections of your employees do not do business with your dealership. Hands down, only 5% of first degree. And we talk about first degree, we talk about family, we talk about close friends, we talk about coworkers at work, but look at your own numbers and just kind of discover that. And why is this? Why is the fact that they don't? I can give you my guesses, some educational guesses on this, is that one, most first-degree personal relationship connections, unless they're a sister, a brother, a mom, or a dad, but more a little bit out on that first degree, have no idea that they work at a dealership. No clue. So how, getting back to the fact of the franchises all battling for the same attention of their brand, of their dealership inside the same area, how do you compete with this? And it's easy. You let your employees expand your reach. These employees, there's no 14 employees that work for Gary Crosley Ford. What we did is we took the employees and we, the areas that they were in heavily, these are different kind of suburbs around the Kansas City area, and this is what they represent. This is the reach that they represent. Even the reach of an employee, some of your employees could extend far beyond your dealership. We've had instances, and you're going to see one here in a second, where you ship cars, right? So It's not about just the local branding, but you have a possibility of nationally branding yourself too. Now, does that sound far-fetched? It can be, but is it possible? Absolutely. So when we look at the leveraging of the employees, how does that work? Well, some studies that come out, the Gallup poll says that 95% of consumers trust employee content more than brand messages. If I post something on my own, it's going to be trusted about MotoFuse. It's going to be trusted 95% of the time more than if MotoFuse posts it through their own Facebook page and somebody sees it that way. Leads generated by employees convert 7 times more often than other leads. 90% of the consumer's employees reach are new to your dealership and brand. That's when we get back to that 95% don't buy from you. It's because they just don't know. And the employee has an average of 10 times more followers than your brand. When we break down how the employees, or even just how a Facebook user works, and this is kind of an aha moment for a lot of people out there, we've been judging, and we'll get this into it, we've been judging all of our stuff off likes and comments. Likes and comments is our metrics for how things are successful. Well, if we look down at the basic Facebook user, and this is any social user, this is any kind of interactive, if you're into Reddit or Imager or even review sites, Yelp, this is how it breaks down the major users, or the major 3. One are your power users. If anybody follows me on Facebook, I would fall into the 1% power users, always creating their own content and pushing it out. The 9%, that's my mother. I'm not ashamed to say it, but she is a content contributor. She never puts out her own content. She always likes, or she always shares other people's content or comments on it. But that's only 10% of the users on a place like Facebook. And we've been judging our metrics off success off of those 2 metrics. But look at the main area of users, our non-detected users. Now, I've only got non-detected up there because I was politically correct to call them what people usually call them. Lurkers and creepers. That's what they call them, but they're not. They're educators. They're looking for information. This is my lady. This is the woman of my life, is a 90%er. You would never think that she was on Facebook, but I'll tell you, every single night, scrolling through the newsfeed, reading articles, watching videos, looking at pictures, she's never detected. So the simple definition of an employee social advocate is an employee who shares your branded and relevant dealership content to his or her social media channels and online gathering places. Simple enough. And a lot of you might be thinking to yourself, well, how am I going to get to do that? How am I going to get them to do my commercials, put my stuff out there? Well, we're going to talk about that. I'd like to talk about Todd Crosley. He's the dealer principal for Gary Crosley Ford. Todd and I are friends. I've been friends with Todd for a long time. I've been Facebook friends for a long time. Todd never mentions the fact on Facebook that he works at a dealership, or even is a dealer principal at a dealership. And I ask him why. It's because he doesn't want people to think he's selling. So what Todd does do is talk about his life. Here he is fishing with one of my favorite football stars from the Kansas City Chiefs in the past, Bill Moss. There's his dogs and his family going go-karting. This is the type of stuff that Todd would put out on his Facebook. So we just asked him, Todd, just take one piece of content marketing. Let's just take an inventory link and let's post it to Facebook and make something funny out of it. Let's just not say I need to sell this. So he grabbed the 2011 Ford Expedition from his inventory, which happened to be the same vehicle that his wife was driving for the past 3 years before that. And she was not a fan of it because she didn't like the color. So he made a little joke about the color. The comments started coming in because it's some good content. It's funny. But all of a sudden, we learn of Kathy Smith, who has a daughter who wrecked her baby blue Taurus and lives down in Tennessee, Nashville area, and reaches out and says, hey, I wish you're in Tennessee. My daughter wants a baby blue Taurus. So Todd understands we can ship cars. So within 2 weeks, and we're talking about selling cars on Facebook, you have to have that. If that's your pushback, I mean, there's obviously proof that happened. And this is through an employee advocate doing this. So we can show that. It's the fact that he's never even thought of doing this before. And what's so interesting about this is Kathy Smith is not even Todd Crosley's first line of network. She's friends with Todd's wife. So empowering your employees, they're 2 times more productive to generate up to 80% of overall customer satisfaction. This is when we get into CEM, customer experience management. If your employees are engaged And knowing the difference between a disengaged employee to an engaged employee, you are going to see miraculous differences and changes happen to not only your reach and your brand online, but the culture of your dealership. And when your culture changes and it is positive, the customer experience will be far beyond what the customer will expect. If we look at trying to make it better at work, we need to work on our employees first. 77% of consumers are more likely to buy a product when recommended by a trusted source. Your employees are trusted sources. Your employees have more followers. The content they share is shared 8 times more than your company content. And businesses with engaged employees outperform their competition by 20%. And for you salespeople out there, 78% of salespeople who engage in social selling beat their quotas and outsell their peers 78%. But this is what gets me. A disengaged employee costs your dealership, your organization, approximately $3,400 for every $10,000 in annual salary. So you want to talk about an ROI of CEM, customer experience management? This is the foundation. Bo Bachman, president of the Galpin Auto Group, says dealerships who want to deliver an excellent customer experience have to adapt quickly to the needs of their customer. Data insights tell us that fully engaged employees contribute to more than 80% of a customer's overall experience with your brand, and we generally care about our employees. If you don't know who Bo Bachman is, president of the Galpin Auto Group, I will tell you that Galpin in Los Angeles, Galpin Ford has been the #1 Ford dealership in the world for over 25 years. And it's not for anything, he doesn't put that on anything except for the buying process of his employees and the customer service that they provide. Poll question.
Question. Thank you so much. You're doing great, Joey. Thank you so much. Well, audience, you know what? We have 2 poll questions for you today. This is going to be your first. You'll see it on the screen now. We'd love it if you would get involved and answer this poll question so we know what's happening at your dealership. Here's the question. How do you currently communicate dealership news, events, and successes to your dealership employees? Please select one of the following options. Do you email it to all your employees? Do you text it to all your employees? Do you use social media? Do you just post flyers on the break room wall? Or you admit you don't really have effective communication for all of your dealership employees? So the question again, how do you currently communicate dealership news, events, and successes to your employees? Email, text, social media, flyers on the break room wall, or not so much any of those. We don't really have a specific way we do it. Whatever the answer is, we want to know. Once we get a majority of those votes in, we're going to close the poll and share the results. And why are all of you writing to me? What are you writing to me? Oh, Tyler says he networked Google Drive and set it up on all the dealer desktops on their mobile phones. No, you can write to me anytime, Tyler. I'm just kidding. Thank you so much. That's a really inventive idea. Joey, have you heard of that one before?
Yeah, I have. Absolutely.
Okay, cool. And Chris says our flyers are a digital board that has just employee info in the back facing areas of the dealership. Interesting. All right, cool. All right, so now that we have heard from those 2 people, let's hear from the rest of you. I'm going to close this poll, and we're going to share the results, and let's see what everyone else had to say. Okay, 44% of today's audience said that their dealership uses email. Only 4% said that they use text. 7% said social media is the way to go. 15% said flyers on the break room wall does it for them. And 30% of today's audience admit that they don't have an effective communication to get to their employees at their dealership. Joey, is that what you were expecting? Or is that unusual?
It's not unusual. It's what I see across the country. What these numbers represent pretty much what we see. There's no effective communication process in place informing employees of events and successes. Most employees really have no idea what is happening outside their department in the dealership.
Well,
and it's
so
sad.
What would you recommend? I mean, is one of these better than the others? Or you're just saying just get in touch with your employees however it takes. Is that what you're saying?
I would say that effective communication has to happen if you want to create engaged employees. If you don't have an effective communication process in place, you will have disengaged employees, just hands down. I know of an amazing product that can help with that, but we can talk about that later.
Okay.
So we get back into the communication process at the dealership. Let me make sure that I'm on here. Here we go. So why, when it comes to your message, and you put messages out there, I just got told of a dealership that puts stuff on their Facebook page and then tells their employees to go to the Facebook page and share that stuff. That's what they're told to do. That's not only to get updated on anything, but also just share it from their Facebook page. And that's what I see so many marketers inside the dealership or internet directors, internet marketers, whoever it is running social, that's what they're expecting is dealers or for employees to share dealership events and successes from your brick and mortar Facebook page. But what if you could provide your employees with the same content that they normally share through their own social media channels, such as if they're in the Game of Thrones, and that's what they put out, and you're able to offer now that kind of content with other dealership information? How would that sound? So engagement is very powerful. This is Todd Crosley again. The second thing that I asked him to post, because we just did inventory, and yeah, we hit one out of the park on the first one. He sold a vehicle online of doing that. And does that sound like an average thing that happens? Well, yes. No, it doesn't. I mean, just getting the word out and branding and top of mind. So we asked Todd, let's not talk about what your goods and services is, but let's talk about the culture of the dealership. And what we did is we created for Todd a part of his website that talked about an adoption event coming to Gary Crosley Ford on Saturday, April 4th. Then we had, on that article, we were able to distribute that to all the employees. And we gave them an opportunity to go ahead and share that article on their Facebook page, their personal Facebook pages. This is Todd's result. Todd shared this article, and I'm going to tell you, if your dealership is not involved in pet adoption, you are missing a huge opportunity for some really good successes and really, really warm hearts. So Todd Crosley, if you look on Facebook, he reached 150 shares from this and got some comments. But if you look at the back end of the click-through rate of that actual article that Todd Crosley himself posted to Facebook, 822 click-throughs to that article on his website. That's just one. That's him and those 150 shares that went out. What about an opportunity of the Midwest Animal Rescue, who's putting on the event with him, actually sharing his post out and about? And this is what we got. They added an additional 97 clicks to his website alone, and the post was then shared 116 times more by other Facebook users. And by the way, side note, once again, if your dealership is not, is your dealership supporting a pet rescue? If not, you need to. And if you need a list of what's around you, give me a call, because we've got some really big pet owners here that would love to share those animal rescues around the country. So not only just the first wave of Todd Crosley getting his reach out there, but the second wave and who is sharing that type of stuff. So providing that great communication and a tool that makes social media sharing at the dealership message, it's going to create what we like to call employee love. Mike DeLay, my CEO here at MotoFuse, and actually a good friend of mine, the love versus love. He loves this whole thing. He LOVs this whole thing. Actually, LUVs it. I get confused when he explains it to me, so I'm going to do him justice. You love your mom. You love your wife. You love your husband. You love your kids. But that's an LOVE. But you have to love your job. LUV. Now, if I didn't do justification from Mike on the explanation of his differences between love and love, I apologize. But we'll have a blog coming out soon explaining it. Another poll question.
Oh, yes, sir. Here we are. Okay, audience, your last poll question is on the screen now. We would love for you to get involved. This isn't the first time I've asked this question, but it's been a while since I've asked this question, so I'm really looking forward to seeing if the answers have changed and how many of you are going to respond in the positive to this. So the question's on the screen. It says, do you currently have an employee social media policy at your dealership? Please select one of the following answers. Yes, and it's working great for us. Yes, but it needs updating or we're not consistent with it. Not yet, but we're thinking about it. No, management doesn't think it's important. Or what? We need one of those? Yeah. Do you currently have an employee social media policy at your dealership. Once we get a majority of those votes in, we're going to close the poll and share the results. And thank you so much for voting on our polls. Yes, this is the second poll question, our last poll question. And also, I want to encourage anyone. Joey's doing such a thorough job of educating you today that we don't have very many questions from you today. So please send in your questions. I love a nice, big, robust Q&A session with my audience. So send in your questions, and let's see. Joey, you're not listening, are you? Let's see if we can stump the speaker. All right?
Huh.
Joey, you didn't hear that, did you? You weren't paying attention, were you? All right, audience. Thank you so much for your votes. We really appreciate it. We're going to close this poll and share the results. Okay, only 11% of today's audience said yes, they do currently have an employee social media policy at the dealership, and they feel it's working great for them. Now, the majority, 39%, so figure almost 40%, right, said yes, but they admit it needs updating or they're not consistent with it. Another 39% said not yet, but you know what? They know it's important. They're going to do it. They're going to get around to it. They just didn't do it yet. Now, 4% say management doesn't think an employee social media policy is important, and 7% have no idea what we're talking about. Joey? And by the way, this is still about the same as it was, I think maybe it was a year or more ago that we asked a similar question about this, and the results haven't been too dissimilar. There aren't a lot of people who, A, have an employee social media policy in place and are happy with it. That's what I remember from that question.
Interesting results here. Very interesting.
Of course, you would like to see everyone have an employee social media policy, correct?
I think every single human resources manager, director would like to see 100% of a social media policy. And I mean, even a follow-up question to that, which can be discovered at a whole different time, is what does your social media policy consist of? So there's so many different aspects that you can get into when it comes to social media. And so, yeah, thank you for the results there. It's not shocking, but it definitely deserves a second look at. So everything that we've talked about and everything that I've talked about, excuse me, nobody's really been talking back, but yeah. All of these problems, all of these issues, the CEM, the customer experience management, your disengaged employees, your engaged employees, your getting the word out through your employees, using them as a sounding board for the love that they have of where they work at. How do we and where do we start? Well, first things first is really odd. It almost was a poll question, but right now 50% of businesses, all industries, businesses, close off access to social media at the office or at work. They close it off. They block it. You can't get into it. You can't get to Facebook, YouTube, any of that. They block it. Well, the smart people that do that apparently don't realize that everybody carries a little thing in their pocket. The majority of people that has access to social, has access to the web. So your first thing is to open up access to social media. It's just asinine to close off any websites. And the biggest pushback we get is that it's a time waster, that it's a productivity killer. I was at a dealership, there was somebody on the side of the dealership smoking a cigarette, and they were on their phone on Facebook. And the floor manager came out and yelled at them and told them to get off Facebook, that they needed to get inside and start calling people they know to try to get some leads. When they had a device in their hand that was complete access to every single person that they know. Next, you need to put together your dealership culture map. If you don't have a mission, vision, values, if all you know about your dealership and your employees know about your dealership is that one page on your website that talks about how Mr. So-and-so met other Mr. So-and-so back in 1960 and they created this dealership that's been around for so long, if that's all they know, then you're going to have disengaged employees and a zero culture at your dealership. You need to understand the values, the actions, the stories. How do you measure things at the dealership? What are you into? What is your DP into? What are your GMs? What is your sales team? Everything that has purpose at your dealership and impact on your culture needs to be discovered, and it needs to be documented so it can be shared with everybody that works there. What is your story? Next, you have to establish a social media policy. And I will tell you, if you want to contact me or any way whatsoever how this works out, I have a social media policy template that's very simple that you can have. You can download it. It's a PDF. Look it over. But it is a social media policy. And then you need to identify the brand ambassadors, the employees that are already social inside your dealership. They're already there. My time at the former company that I worked at, I stood out. I was the one that when we saw a press release go out, I would tweet it. I would do that stuff. I was already social, and that's how I was founded. They're already doing it, and we'll show some examples later. Now we're really going to get started. So think of it as a road trip. What we did is we just filled the car up with gas. We grabbed some corn nuts. You know, we took one more trip to the bathroom. Now let's get behind the wheel, and let's go for a ride. Here are 5 things you must do to start customer experience management processes at your dealership. 1, right tools for the job. You need to curate content. You need to get stuff for your employees. You need to schedule posts for your own brick and mortar. You need to engage others, thank your followers, track your metrics, and allow your employees to do the same thing. Trackable metrics are an absolute need. The tool that can make communication and social posting easier, something that's on somebody's phone, something that's mobile, something that you're familiar with like Flipboard or StumbleUpon. Those are apps and things that you can make posting easy, right? But we got to get them all into one area, and we can discover that later too. Give employees access to content that they're already sharing through other platforms, like we just talked about, through Flipboard and through, they're using those, but make it all in one simple app. Let those employees post those posts to social sites. You can see this one from Gary Montoya has nothing to do with the automotive industry. It's fittest cities in the U.S. and why. But here's the rub. Here's the trick. On those articles and those posts that go out, instead of sending them to a magazine or some OEM site or something like that, why not have them land on your very own branded landing page with your information, with your ads, with your marketing campaigns, driving website traffic and VDP views? Why not? How does it hurt? Because the content that's here is what Gary Montoya wants to share. Fittest cities in the U.S. and why? All by CNN. Why compete with those Google banner ads? Why compete with all those other keyword or all those other purchases that are out there, but not only just your franchise competition, but the competition throughout your area? And the feedback I get is, well, Joey, you know, I've heard this a lot of times. I got that guy that works in sales. It's not quite, you know, you don't know where he's coming from. He's a little odd. I don't want anybody to know his Facebook, you know. He's, you know, no. Well, here's the thing. If you've got an oddball that's selling, that's on Facebook, and they have friends that are on Facebook, well, guess what? Other oddballs buy cars, it's hands down. But maybe not direct them to a branded dealership page, but direct them to an OEM page, to an OEM ads that still drive the traffic to your website and VDP views. You've got to show the metrics of what your employees are providing or posting. You've got to let them know that hey, look at all this engagement that you're getting. Not just likes and comments, but actually engagement. People that are clicking on the things that they want. And provide. Your sales team will post out inventory. They just will. Comparison articles, review articles. Service people may post out service schedulers. You never know, but it's got to be there. And your employees will increase your website traffic and VDP views, all organically. So now, right now, how much do you currently pay for a VDP view? I know there's a company out there that averages about $4 that they charge per dealership per VDP view. And that's how it works. Why not get them organically? So if your dealership has 100 employees, that's an average of 30,000 friends. And this bounces back from 300 to 350 friends. And if only 1% of those friends share a post that leads to a sale, that's 300 more car sales. Now that sounds astronomical, but it's possible. Cut it in half. Cut it in half again. And don't forget to track the metrics of the brick and mortar sites too. If you look down in the left-hand corner, that's a KB there. That's from my boy Kendall Billman, their chief sales marketing officer here at Motofuse, who was going to join me today, and unfortunately he had an engagement that popped up. But Kendall, these slides that they say KB, this is what Kendall wanted added. Your brick and mortar sites have to show those metrics also. If you just have postings that are going out there and you're judging it off likes and comments, you're not doing anything. And if you're trying to just create the fact that you're doing it for top of mind awareness. Well, that's how radio and TV are sold. That's not how we sell social and digital. We sell by clicks. We sell by real engagement. So making sure that you have based engagement off categories, off what you're posting. And in fact, if that engagement can come back and tell you when is the best day to post that type of category and the time. And that's different from across the country. So likes and comments, throw them out. They are not factors for social success anymore. They are not. And if anybody tells you different, ask for the engagement. Ask for strategy. West Coast majority of reviews are read at Wednesday and 3 o'clock. These are posts that go out from employees, just posting stuff out with links back. And also for the brick and mortar. Midwest reviews, this is right now. So this is real time. This is the stats I pulled yesterday. In the Midwest, reviews are mostly read Fridays at 1 p.m. Why is it? East Coast reviews are read at 4 p.m. on Thursdays. Why is it? This is stuff that we discover. This is what we need to look into. But back to the employee. Get away from brick and mortar. Number 2 is that your leadership must lead. Every area of your dealership needs to be engaged. You cannot have buy-in if you don't have buy-in from the top. It took me a year and a half to get Mike DeLay a clout score over 15. And now he's rocking a 68. If anybody knows what that means, or if you even have fun with it, that means that he's getting engaged and he understands it and he's having a good time with it. But everybody has to have an example to follow. Number 3, identify those internal ambassadors, like we said earlier. Find them. Find the guys and the girls in your sales team that are doing their own walk-around videos, that have their own YouTube pages. I was at a major dealership in South Florida, and they're talking about how they don't want their employees posting to Facebook any of their messages, when I can do a quick search and show them that they have an employee that has his own Facebook identity as Brandon Lexus. And he's doing it, and guess what? He's the top salesperson. So identify who they're already doing it. Because the employees are. The employees are pushing stuff out. They're doing it on their own. But they don't really know what they're doing. They sell. That's what they do. They don't market. Their messages may not be exactly in line with what you want the dealership message. That's why the social media policy is very important. They're representing your company. They're representing your culture, and they're representing you. So make sure that they have the right message to put out. Number 4, broaden your definition of social and develop a strategy. Listen and discover what your consumers and employees care about. Apply those insights to your own strategy. And if you are using a third-party social media management vendor, simply pick up the phone and ask them, what is your strategy? What is your social strategy? If you've got your OEM plugged in, posting to your Facebook for you, ask them, what is the strategy? If you have links that are going on your Facebook brick and mortar page that are driving traffic to some other website, why? What is the strategy? And if you don't have a strategy to your social or digital marketing, it's time to develop one. And number 5, think big picture. Social isn't just an add-on to your current marketing spend. It's not. It is a key to staying relevant in the customer experience economy. So you've got to connect and engage with both your employees and your consumers. You have to. It's no more just shouting at people that want to buy cars. You've got to get your employees engaged and involved. So the power of one through CEM. Look at it across the board. Dealer principal, 400 Facebook friends. Everybody in your dealership, except for a few, are on Facebook. Some may only have 250 friends, as the parts department does here, and some may have 1,000, which a lot of the internet BDCs have. The power of one is not just about sales, but it's about bottom line. CEM is not just about customer experience, but it's also about your bottom line when it comes to money. Look at the productivity savings, the absentee savings, the turnover savings, and the onboarding savings, the total annual savings to having an engaged employee. This is based off of $50,000 salary. An engaged employee, somebody who LUV their job, their dealership, their culture, can save you $10,000 a year in annual savings off what they do. So the takeaways from what we just discussed, and I hope you can feel my passion in what I talk about, because I could extremely believe in this. It's something that I've been preaching for 5 or 6 years now. Leverage the power of your employees, the power of one. Know that strength. Direct your social traffic to your branding landing pages or website. Why drive your traffic anywhere else? Why? A social media strategy is a must, and you must gather results and share them. And finally, provide a tool that makes it easy. And don't forget, do it all in Spanish, because we don't all speak English anymore. And the majority of car buyers and a lot of people that are working at the dealerships now, Espanol. So I want to say thank you very much for this time, Eliana, and everybody that tuned in. I know we still have some more stuff to do here, but yeah, thank you so much.
Joey, that was really, really good. And you do have a dynamic personality, my friend. That was wonderful. Audience, I hope you agree. We're going to get to that Q&A session in just a moment. So if you haven't gotten in your question yet for the wonderful Joey Little and see if he might be able to help you and your situation at your dealership, I don't know what you're waiting for. Now would be the perfect time to do that. We're going to get to your questions in just a moment. Before we do, though, oh, we got some fun to take care of now. It's that time. If you missed it at the beginning of the webinar, well, I announced that our good friends at MotoFuse are giving away a really delicious prize today on the webinar. One of you lucky webinar attendees is going to win the ultimate Kansas City barbecue gift box. Joey, do you want to put your radio voice into that? The ultimate Kansas City. I'm sure you can do it, right?
Kansas City barbecue.
Love it. Okay, so let me tell you what's in this thing, because I'm not going to list it all out, but there's 5 different kinds of seasoning rubs, 3 different brands of barbecue sauce, yum, 1 steak sauce, and a book, it's underneath actually, called The 25 Essentials of Grilling. Perfect summertime gift. Just awesome prize. Love this prize. All you have to do is answer a simple question about the presentation that you just saw. I hope you were paying attention. So get ready, get to your keyboards. First one to write in the correct response will be walking away with this cool prize today. Good luck, everyone. And of course, vendors, you know we love you, but please, we're going to ask you to sit this one out. This prize is in fact intended for dealership personnel only. We do thank you in advance, of course. So here we go. Good luck, everyone. Oh, and by the way,
includes all you MotoFuse employees that are logged in watching this too. Stay away from this.
Yeah, not for you either. Just for dealership personnel, okay? And if you win, I need you to, after, of course, I know you're going to like yelp in the dealership and high five, but I need you to quickly write to me and let me know your dealership name and send me your mailing address too so we can hurry up and get this yummy prize out to you. Okay, here's your question, everyone. Good luck. Leads generated by employees convert how many times more than other leads? Well, no one got it right yet, so you can guess again. I will read the question again. Leads generated by employees convert how many times more than other leads? No one has it right yet. Some people have come close. No one got it right. And you know what's funny? You like glossed over it. Like you didn't really push it. I told you not to push it, but boy, you really glossed over it. I heard you say it though. He did say it. Oh, we have a winner. We have a winner. Yay! He's the only one that got it right today, by the way. Kevin Fonteca. Kevin Fonteca. Let's go with Fonteca. Kevin Fonteca, you're our winner today. You're the only one who got the correct answer. 7. A lot of people said 8. A lot of people said 10. Some people said 6. Some people even put 2 to 4. No. 7. Kevin Fonteca, write to me. Tell me where you're from. Oh, look at him. Kevin, you are on the ball. He is from Twin State Ford in Vermont. Congratulations, Kevin Fonteca. You are going to have one delicious summer ahead of you. You're going to get your prize directly from our friends over at MotoFuse. Write in, give me your mailing address so we can get that prize out to you as quickly as possible. Audience, thank you so much for playing along. We really, really enjoyed that. We give away prizes every week, so come back next week and see if you can win another prize. Big congratulations, of course, to today's winner, Kevin Fonteca from Twin State Ford in Vermont. And, of course, we got to thank our good friends at MotoFuse for their awesome generosity. That was a lot of fun. All right, Joey, you ready to get some answers to these good people?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's, in fact, So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a little something special there because I'm feeling.
Oh, yeah? What are we going to do? What are we going to do?
Can you see me?
Hey, looking pretty fly there, fella. Thank you
See
so
my
much.
peanut gallery behind me?
Hi, how you doing? Okay, she didn't have to like kick you or anything. You got everything you needed to, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, never mind, Kevin. You did he sent me the address and didn't send me the zip, but he did. He just did. You are on the ball. Thank you. Okay. Congratulations, Kevin. Okay. Ooh. Let's get to this one first. It was the last question asked, but hey, I'll put it up first. Carrie says, "Can we friend Joey on LinkedIn?" You don't mind, do you?
You can friend me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. You can get me on about.me, also about 7,000 other social sites. So anywhere I'm out there, if you go to about.me/social little man, you should be able to find every single place you can catch me at.
I love it. Okay.
Or no, sorry, about.me/Joey Little. My bad.
Okay, got it. About.me//Joey Little. Okay. Also, I want to let you know, Tyler wrote in. First of all, he said word, which I already like Tyler just for using that because I always use that. And then he says, "It's great to hear someone finally saying the truth." And just so you know, Andy was sharing the same sentiment. Andy wrote in, "I really liked everything you said, but getting to implement it is the problem. Do you have any advice on how to get employee buy-in?"
So first of all, say hi to all of our Periscope viewers on Twitter right now. All they see is a picture of myself. But the answer to that is slow. Building a culture is not a process that happens overnight. Employee buy-in, first of all, telling an employee that communication is going to improve at the dealership should be enough to get somebody excited. The number one complaint about disengaged employees is communication. Number two is management. So a slow buy-in process, when it comes to social posting, that process for buy-in, you've got 25% of your employees that are going to buy in right away. If your sales team knows that they're going to be posting things on Facebook that they like, that's going to drive to a landing page, that's going to drive traffic back to your website, then gives you leads, 25% buy-in right away. So yeah, I believe that developing the culture and developing a CEM process at the store, it's not an overnight success. It's something that you have to grow.
Agree. Andy, Tyler, if you have follow-up questions, hey, you know I'm always here for you. Right on in, all right? Your next question comes from Heather. She says, "Do you have any tips to help?" Oh, she wrote the same thing. "Do you have any tips to help get employees on board who are just not very involved in social media?" Now that's a totally different question because we're under the assumption that everyone is already involved in social media. So what do you do for the people who really don't have a social media presence? You just leave them alone, or you say, "Hey, this is the way things are now"?
So we go back to the three categories of users that are on social sites. We look at the 1%ers, the 9%ers, and the 90%ers. I don't think the concern is that they don't have a presence online. I think the concern is that they just don't show up online. Like I said, my lady, she doesn't really leave a path behind her, but she's clicking on everything. What we have to do is we have to encourage them that you can be social. And the main reason why she doesn't do it is that she's an executive for a large global company, and she doesn't want to say anything dumb or do anything stupid. That's her issue, and that's a lot of the upper management issues. But normal people are the same way. They don't want to look dumb. They don't want to think that they're boring anybody. They don't really understand how social works. But the education process of just networking those ideas throughout the dealership and just encouraging your employees, if they're not, hey, listen, you don't want to bore anybody by taking a picture of your lunch, which we completely understand. There's a whole group of people like that already. Then here's an article that we wrote about our cookie drive that we did, last week, that we raised $250 for the Boys and Girls Club because our employees brought in cookies and we sold them and had a good time. So doesn't that sound awesome? In fact, how would you like to just encourage and erase that whole dealership stigma of all they're out for is money and to screw people? I mean, they have to understand we have great cultures at dealerships. That's not how it is anymore. And that's what you can share. So show and build that LUV, and I believe that social will start coming behind it. And plus, if you just get one person at the dealership doing it, just one that was a 90%er and you move them over to 9%, that's a huge success right there, and you can only go up from there.
Yeah, I love that. And Heather, she's so funny. She wrote in, we have a lot of dinosaurs over here. I got you, Heather. I know earlier you had said, get involved with pets and, pet adoption and stuff like that. I'm also going to throw some stuff out there too. I think vets are huge. Get involved with the veterans, firefighters, police. Let me just tell you something. Everyone knows at least one person that they're close with who is in the service, was in the service, or is a policeman, fireman, or something like that. So if you get involved with those types of groups, as soon as one of them is happy, they tell all of their friends, all of them. But that's because that's just the way they are. It's a brotherhood.
To build that culture, also, what I don't think a lot of dealerships do is reach out to their employees and see what their employees are into. What is, Jimmy that's turning wrenches back in service? Maybe Jimmy's a big brother for big brothers and big sisters, or Kristen who's on the sales floor. Maybe Kristen is somebody who works with the Wounded Warrior Foundation. That we just don't know that because we don't have the communication to get that out there. I mean, the select few may, but this is where that customer experience management comes in. Bringing that to the forefront, because there's nothing more irritating than when a dealership picks a cause that none of the employees really know anything about or have anything to do with it. And so crowdsourcing your employees is very, very a great idea for what you get involved in.
Yeah.
And dealerships are doing stuff all the time. They just don't realize that they can put it out there and show the good news.
And really capitalize on it. Agreed. Now, Tyler did have a follow-up question. Of course, Tyler asked earlier, how do we get the employees more involved? Well, now he wants to know, how do you get them involved without overwhelming them with culture change shock, and without getting strong pushback? They're getting tougher on you, Joey.
Naturally, you're going to get pushback. Naturally, I mean, it's going to happen.
Because people don't like change?
They don't like change. I don't think it's the fact that people don't like change. I think that people are just nervous of change. It's not that they don't like it. It makes them nervous. It makes them. It brings out an emotion that they have that they don't want to have, which is a fear of the unknown. Because doing the same thing over and over and over again makes you very happy and puts you maybe not happy, but puts you very much in content with what you're doing. But when you make a change, you're going to have that pushback. But the thing is that you're not going to know what your pushback is until you try it, until you do it. And that's the whole evolution of a culture at the dealership, is that slow change, the slowness. I mean, we're not talking about turn this thing on and tell everybody that they got to push out a piece of inventory to Facebook tomorrow. You can't do that. In fact, who in fixed is going to want to do that? But it's about small changes, communication. We're looking at the numbers here. 44% of the dealerships that are on with us right now use email as communication. Like, how effective is that? What is it working? So that's where you have to discover and look at first. So.
Okay, I have a question. Would you recommend doing some kind of like weekly or maybe even bi-weekly training on the kinds of things that they could be putting on social media, should be putting on social media, just keep getting them excited about social media? Or are you saying, hey, this is our new policy, this is what we're going with, do it?
So I see, being in the automotive industry, especially on the vendor side, we watch and see what happens with our other vendors. We look and see what the new stuff is. And I see a ton of training. I see phone training from Phone Ninjas. I see Jim Ziegler doing training, Grant Cardone doing. I see all this kind of training, but I don't really see, except for Laura Madison. Oh, good name. I see her kind of up and coming. It's the importance of social media training. I believe so. I believe it has to. I mean, I do it here with our MotoFuse sales team and with our content team and our brand impact managers. It just has to be done. Every morning I send out an email to all the staff here at MotoFuse with basically the top 8 digital marketing, social marketing, social media updates, links for them to have reading material throughout the day. So if they want to educate themselves, you have to provide it. You have to. I've been stuck. This is my problem. You want to hear about my challenges? My challenge is that I expect people to just figure things out. That's how I came up, being a broadcaster, back selling Nickelback. And I taught myself, and I also went to school and educated myself also on digital marketing and how this all works, and sociology and the psychology of the shopper and all that. And I taught myself, and I expect other people to do that, but you can't do that anymore. You can't expect that. You have to encourage it. You have to give the plate with the food on it, and then hope they eat it.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that there are going to be people at the dealership who are not in sales,
right,
who don't really feel that it's their place. Let's say it's one of the mechanics, for instance, or gosh, it could be anyone who doesn't have direct client or customer interaction, and they really feel that they don't need to be involved and be the voice for this place that they work at. You got any words of advice for that?
Well, it's not even that. If we go back to the example with Gary Crosley Ford, and we showed the Midwest Animal Rescue post that Todd went out and the results we got from that from the website.
Yeah, that was incredible, by the way. What I didn't hear from you was what was the ratio between how many opened the link, which was like 800 and some, right? And how many fans do they have of that dealership? Like, do they have
their fan count is right around 7,000. Is right around their fan count. But this went through a personal. Todd Crosley has approximately 1,400 friends on Facebook.
Oh wow!
Yeah, 1,400. But that is a big mixture of. I mean, that's auto industry probably covers. I don't know, maybe like an eighth or a fourth. But when we speak of, I had a chance when I went to Gary Crosley Ford and I polled the employees there. I've gotten the opportunity to bring employees into their giant training room, and I ask questions and I get the feedback from them. And before the Midwest Animal Rescue event at the dealership, 3 months prior to that, I hosted an event called Bark After Dark, where Gary Crosley Ford was a major sponsor of this event. And that event raised $35,000 for the Midwest Animal Rescue.
Wow!
$35,000, and it was held at a place here in Kansas City called Californo's, if you've ever been to it. Now, when I got into the room with this time, there was about 40 employees, and we're talking admins, fixed, sales, all of them, a nice mixture of them. And I asked how many people in that room heard of Bark After Dark, the event, and 4 people raised their hand. 4 people out of the entire room of 40. So that's what, 10%?
10%.
10%. And then I asked how many people realized that at the event it raised $35,000 for Midwest Animal Rescue. And the same 4 people raised their hand. And then I asked how many of you would have loved to know about the Bark After Dark event that your business was, you work at was sponsoring. And 75 to 80% of that room, I can't know the number, raised their hand. And then I said, how many of you, if you knew your business, your company you worked for raised $35,000 to find homes for foster dogs and for foster pets, how many of you would have loved to share that with your friends and family? And 50% of the room raised their hand. So it just gives you the opportunity that the plate with the food on it was not even presented to the employees. And this is something that Todd looked at, and it was an aha moment for him. I mean, just imagine. So that's why the next time we did it, we asked the employees. We took 8 of them and asked them, hey, here's the information that you asked for before. Let's test it, and let's see what happens. And I will tell you from that Sunday, I adopted a dog that Sunday. His name is Rocket. He's got his own page. Check him out.
That's wonderful.
But they adopted 13 dogs that day, and they had, what was it? 70 got microchipped, and there was like 450 people showed up to the event. 450 people showed up to the event just because the employees shared that. 8 employees. So, yeah, sorry.
That's awesome.
From Rocket. He's an amazing dog.
Aw, you're going to make me cry. Okay, just so you know, Heather wrote in. She says, I think the best point you've made so far is to find things that our employees are passionate about, no matter where they are in the dealership or where they're based, and that will certainly be more likely to share and promote. Thank you, Heather. Very, very nice. Tyler wrote in. He's putting it all out there. He's like, I want to see your social media policy. Where do I get that social media policy, Joey? Do you got one?
So there's a link. It's motofuse.com/. we had it as a toolkit. Okay, so it's motofuse.com// social media toolkit.
Eliana, I'm emailing you.
And Kristen said she's emailing you the link, Eliana. So if that wants to be distributed.
Actually, here I can put it into the window right now so that everyone can have it. Okay, so it's www.motofuse.com/ social media toolkit.
Yeah, and it also has inside there. It was my little playground. Me and Kristen kind of. You've got there's a PDF in there describing today's shopper. Just put a blog out today on motofuse.com that talks about Generation X car buyers. We hear so much about millennials, and we hear so much about the baby boomers. My generation. I feel so content put together something for that. We show that kind of user. We break it down. What else do we have in there? We have a lot of cool stuff in there.
There's developing customers.
There's tons of stuff. So yeah, our website it's not a sales website. It is an educational type website, and I know you love that, Eliana. And you go there, you can check out. We've got a ton of white papers. We are about education, and if we can make a living and build an amazing company behind the fact that we can educate dealers, that's a win-win situation. That's an absolute win-win situation for not only us but also for our dealerships too.
I feel the same way. That's what we try and do too. We just try and help dealers because if we have a strong automotive industry, it's good for all of us. It's good for all of us. Tyler says, thank you very much for answering that question. Last one comes in from the birthday boy, Mike the car guy.
Is that Mike? All right.
Yeah, he said, great job, Joey. Thanks for many ideas on how to better get my team to follow my lead. We'll be putting some new things in place today. Mike the car guy, dude, put it off till tomorrow, my friend. Go enjoy your birthday. That's just me. I'm all about the birthdays. Joey, thank you so much. You were wonderful. I got to tell Kendall, thank you for not showing up today, I guess.
I tease it. We wish. I know Kendall's going to be watching this later on the recording, and I want to thank Kendall for giving me this opportunity also. So, yeah,
you were wonderful. I'd love to have you back on the show sometime in the future. All right, Joey?
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
All right, cool. Take care, and thanks to all those friends of ours over at MotoFuse. We do appreciate you being here today. Fantastic presentation. I loved it. I hope you did too. I want to remind you, a link to download a copy of this webinar recording is going to be emailed to you later today for your reference. Please feel free to share it with your friends and colleagues. It was a great one. Today's webinar is also going to be posted online within 24 hours. All you have to do is go to DealerOn.com/webinar. And there you can view our upcoming webinar schedule or access any of our past webinars too. Also, at the conclusion of this webinar in just a moment, you're going to receive a short survey. So fill it out because we're always looking for great feedback from our audience. We want to know what you thought of today's presentation. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Give us your feedback. We want to know everything. Today, we're going to randomly select a couple of people from all those completed surveys to also win some Google prizes. That's right. And invitations will be going out tomorrow for our next DealerOn webinar. Oh, this is a good one too. By the way, this was one we had scheduled a few months back, and she had a family emergency and couldn't make it, so we rescheduled it for next Thursday. And I know a lot of you want to see this because we had a lot of people who registered for it the first time. It's back, and it's going to be an awesome, awesome webinar. Prospecting, data mining your own leads to generate more business. So which would you choose? 1, wait on point outside all day to try and catch an up in the hopes that you can sell them a car. Or 2, work smarter, not harder. Have the leads walk in the door and ask for you by name. I know, it's true. Sounds too good to be true, though, right? Well, guess what? Instead of waiting for something to happen, you can take control of your destiny and increase your sales simply by knowing more than the other salespeople in the dealership. Automotive trainer Jennifer Suzuki is here to help. She is going to show you how to use your CRM and other vendor tools to your prospecting advantage. She's also going to explain how to effectively use your existing leads to increase vehicle sales. Attendees of this fast-paced 1-hour webinar are going to learn how to create your own lead list and will also obtain effective process maps with actual call, voicemail, text, and email examples. Oh yeah, Jennifer is going to share real success stories and will also bring in a guest salesperson who had been using these techniques to consistently sell 20+ cars a month, all of it just from data mining. So are you ready to get your head in the game? If you want to learn more about prospecting and how to data mine your own leads and generate more business, then this is the presentation you've been waiting for. So don't miss it. Don't forget, DealerOn's weekly webinars are held Thursdays, 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific. And if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions regarding these webinars and our topics, please contact me directly. Again, my name is Eliana Raggio. I'd love to hear from you. So track me down online, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, on all the automotive social networks, or you can email me directly at eliana@dealeron.com. Thank you so very much for spending this time with us today, and I hope to see you all on another webinar in DealerOn's continuing education series. Take care.